What's up guys, Anthony here with Empire Music and EmpireMusic.com. Today, showing you a quick comparison between the brand new Fender Player Plus series precision bass as I twirl it around here in my hands and make focus really bad for Brent there behind the camera. I want to compare it to kind of what its little brother or sister in crime there, partner in crime. Did I mix up my phrases there? I think I did. But the Player series, this is just your passive standard guy. This is the brand new, like I said, Player Plus. What's the Plus get you? A couple different specs, but I think the one glaring thing is that you have a P-bass pickup in here in addition to the, or a noiseless J pickup in addition to the P pickup, and active electronics. So they're built very similarly, but you have a different bridge with the high mass bridge here versus your vintage standard 4-saddle bridge. What's that do for sound? What's it do for feel? You guys can comment and see what, I mean, I don't really know if I ever hear or feel a big difference with that stuff. And I'm one of the worst people when it comes to like that type of stuff, bridges and nut material and stuff like that. I'm just kind of oblivious to it. If I like the overall sound of an instrument, then I'm kind of good there. So high mass bridge versus the standard bridge, the addition of, like I said, the J pickup here in the bridge position, P pickup here, alder bodies, maple neck, satin urethane finish on the back of the neck, synthetic bone nut. Fretboard wise, 12-inch radius. So a flatter fretboard versus the 9.5-inch radius. Again, I never notice a big difference with that type of stuff until it gets into like the really, really flat, almost like, you know, the real, like the Ken Smith feeling, real super flat. It's like the only time that I really notice it on an instrument. So again, I'm kind of oblivious to it if I like the sound of it. Spec-wise, that's really the difference is there, and obviously there's some different finishes with it. Sonically though, that's what this video is about. Do we hear a big difference? So let's jump into some sounds. And I'm gonna just go in the passive mode here with this, just to give it a fair comparison to the Player series. So really what we're comparing are the pickups at that point. What's the difference in the pickups in these instruments? And then once we're done with that, I'll jump between active and passive tones with this guy. I've already done a video like that, but just to kind of keep everything in one place as you're watching this video, we'll compare kind of everything. So let's jump into some tones. Cool, so great comparison there between the Player series and the Player Plus series, but the comparison ends there. So with the jazz bass in both lineups, there's a lot of comparison because we have the two pickups, they're very similar layout-wise. With the P bass, there's only one pickup in that and it's passive. When we engage this bridge pickup, it's really not a fair comparison. So we're just gonna walk through some of the tones now on the Player Plus here with both pickups in active and passive mode. I'll start in passive, I'll flip over to active. And you will notice, and I said this in the J video, this line crushes it in active mode. Not something I say all the time because I'm predominantly a passive bass player. Actually all bass players, we should be passive. We shouldn't play, we should be very not active players. Just play the root, the fifth, the octave. That's all we do, right? We're passive players. But no, electronic-wise, and like all my basses are passive basses. I love the sound out of these in active mode. I think it really retains a lot of like the Fender sonic spectrum and the you know, the dynamic range that a Fender gives you. It's why I love them. When you flip into active mode, it never gets away from that. So I think they did a great job with the circuitry in this, and the American Ultras for that matter. I was always impressed with then always keeping kind of what we want out of a Fender instrument, even when we jump over to active. So both pickups wide open. We'll start passive. We'll move over to active. Make sure it's there. An EQ will be flat at first when I jump over to active mode. Now, active, both pickups. Now we'll change the EQ just a touch, add a little bit of bass. I'm going to drop out a little bit of top end, and I'm going to add a touch of mid-range, just a little bit. So again, passive. Now active with a little bit of, messing with the EQ there. I love the sound of that. Now, let's go just P pickup. Again, we'll go passive just to kind of remind you that. Remember, no passive tone control. And then we'll go into active mode with no boost right now. So everything flat on the EQ. So we're really just getting a little bit of a gain jump. I love that. I think that sounds fantastic. That sounds it's like just a pumped up P bass. I think that's awesome. Now we'll add a little bit of bass, drop some treble, add a little bit of mid. Again, sounds really, really good. Again, just like a super in-your-face kind of P sound without losing the character of what we like out of our precision bass, that real woody kind of thuddy sort of sound out of that. Now, probably the least used thing on a PJ configuration is just going back to that bridge pickup. Active, or here's it in passive. Now in active mode, this would be super useful if we're getting into like a solo or we really want to hit pedals with a different character. So flat with active. That's cool. Again, that really helps, I think, bring out some character. I'm going to boost some mid-range, a little bit of low end. Actually, we'll boost a little bit of treble too on that guy. Yeah, cool. I love what that does to just the J pickup in this thing. I think that's a really, really cool feature in this. It really brings that to life. I never loved the PJ configuration. I always thought the J was a little bit weak in that. But with the active electronics, that really, really cures that. So well done on Fender's end to really bring that feature out into this lineup. So somewhat of a comparison between the P basses, between the Player Series and the Player Plus. As you can tell, the Player Plus brings a lot more to the table tonally than what you get out of the Player Series. But the Player Series is dead simple to operate. It's really a no-frills approach. That's why we love a P-Bass. At least I do. Call me at the shop, 412-343-5299. Email me directly at anthony@empiremusic.com. If If you need anything, like I said, feel free to reach out and comment. I want to know what you guys think out there, and we'll discuss down there in the comment section. Thanks, guys.